Alright, guys, today I'm going to be ranking every coaster at Six Flags Great Adventure. I've ridden all these coasters a ton of times. I absolutely love them. I don't love them all, but for the most part, this is a phenomenal coaster collection. Truly one of the greatest of all time. And you'll definitely see that throughout the list that I have mostly positive things to say about these coasters. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So starting at number 14 is obviously Little Devil. It's a Zamperla gravity coaster. It's really nothing special. I really don't want to talk about this more. Number 13 is Harley Quinn Crazy Train. This is one of those really weird Zero Tivoli coasters. It has the obnoxiously long train. I mean, in the back, it gives some decent whip over the first two drops, but I mean, other than that, it's definitely a tame kiddie coaster. Moving on. Number 12 is where we start getting into the good stuff, and it's Green Lantern. I don't know. I don't really like this ride at all. I'm not gonna lie. It's not really good. It's good for what it is. I could see why someone would like it. It's intense. I'll give it that. You definitely get some good leg numbing on it, I'll say, but yeah, it's not worth it for what this ride does to your groin. It's awful. Yes, I've watched all the videos, every single tutorial on how to not like break your nuts on this thing, and it does not work for me. I don't get it. Maybe I'm an idiot. I probably am, but I don't know. I can't figure it out. And the layout itself, it's a pretty basic B&M looper. Nothing too special here. So the basic layout with the head banging and the groin pain, it's not a pleasant experience for me. Number 11 is Skull Mountain. This is a very bizarre Intamin creation. Everyone says it has a phenomenal first drop. It's got a good first drop. It's not like top tier. It's got a weird rest of the ride. It meanders. It's got random jolts of laterals thrown here and there. It's such a weird ride. It's just thrown in a box, basically. Yeah, the whole time you're on it, you're just thinking, what's going on here? And in some ways, that's bad. Some ways, that's good. It's kind of just a ride that's so bad that it's good in a way. Number 10 is The Dark Knight. It is a really solid Wild Mouse. I'm not going to lie. This is probably my favorite standard Wild Mouse. It's smooth. I mean, it's still nothing crazy. It's a Wild Mouse, but you've got good theming at least, and it works for the most part. It's nice in there. I mean, there's not much to say. It's a Wild Mouse with Six Flags level theming, but you know, Six Flags level theming, it's up there for Six Flags, that's for sure. So definitely worth a ride if you haven't done it. Number 9 is another one I find pretty overrated. It's Superman Ultimate Flight. There's three of these. This is the only one I've done, but I don't know. It's not just this. I also find Tatsu pretty overrated. I'm just not a big fan of flyers. For the most part, they really don't do anything, especially this thing. This is such a snooze fest other than the pretzel loop. The pretzel loop makes the ride. It's a fun maneuver. It's a fun inversion, great positives, but a lot of people say it's like a top 5 moment of positives, these pretzel loops, and I don't really see it. There's definitely some stronger positives in the park than this thing, that's for sure. And the rest of the ride just kind of meanders and doesn't really do a whole lot, so that's why I have to put it this low. But number 8 definitely isn't that weak. It's Medusa. This is the B&M floorless, and it's definitely my second favorite floorless, only behind Dominator, and it's actually pretty close, honestly. The highlight of the ride is easily the zero G roll. It's almost like an inverted pop of airtime, it kind of feels like. Definitely one of the better inversions I've experienced, for sure. The rest of them, they're basic B&M looper elements, but it executes them well. That's kind of a theme with a lot of the rides in the park. The elements themselves in pretty much all these coasters aren't anything to shout at, but I don't know, for some reason about like the way all these coasters at this park execute their elements, it's phenomenal. And Medusa is a good example of that for sure. Number 7 is Joker. It's an SNS 40 free spin, but you know what? I like these more than most people. Some rides are kind of going to be duds. Others you're going to flip a ton and it's going to be chaos. and that's really, really when this ride shines. Especially if you go in the side where it's like facing forward going out of the station, and you throw your weight backwards going over like the initial drop, and yeah, it's going to be out of control the rest of the ride. It's phenomenal. And again, it kind of feels like a flat ride, like a lot of people say, but you know what? That's fine by me. There's some really good flat rides out there that would rank top 4 in this park, honestly. So yeah, a really good flat ride is still amazing. Number 6 is Batman the Ride. It's a Batman the Ride clone. It's one of the weakest B&M inverts for sure, but it's still a weak B&M invert. Inverts are amazing. It has the essential leg numbing that you'll get on pretty much any other invert. You've got a pretty basic layout. It was the first, and it is a clone. Well, this one was the second, but you know what I mean. The Batmans were the first, and you can definitely tell, but it's still got great whip on the corkscrews and the zero G roll. Everything is really punchy and stands out. So Batman still definitely a must ride today. Number 5 is one of the most underrated coasters, just period. It's Runaway Mine Train. I'm not even kidding when I say it. It really blows my mind how intense this thing was. The start of it, it was fun. It was a basic mine train, janky, some good laterals, not really a whole lot of airtime, but then you dove off of the mid course or the straight track. I don't even know, but what came after that is one of if not the most shocking moment on any coaster. That's the ejector death hill in the front row. Oh my god, I was not prepared for that the first time. It it's definitely the best moment, best airtime moment in the park besides the number 1 spot. It I don't even know. It's on par with like an RMC, like a solid RMC hill. It's that strong. And it's on a family mine train. It makes no sense, but you get a little bit of room and it just hits you like a truck. You cannot prepare for it if you're in the front. It's truly a spectacular moment. It makes no sense on this ride, but I ride it multiple times when I go, usually just for that moment. And the rest of the ride's really scenic and nice too. Number 4, this is really where we start getting to the good stuff. This is the big 4, everyone knows Great Adventure 4. Number 4 for me is Jersey Devil Coaster. I recognize it's an RMC, but it's still definitely the weakest RMC for me. Sometimes it flies, sometimes it absolutely crawls. It's really, really temperamental. And the biggest thing for me is those restraints. I absolutely hate them. You get such bad neck chopping on them. I hate it. But I can look past that for some great airtime, fun inversions, like amazing hang time and whip. And yeah, it's just a solid ride. It's just, there's a lot better RMCs out there. Number 3 is Nitro, the best B&M hyper, and that's definitely the best for now. I haven't ridden Goliath or Shambhala, but for now, it's definitely my favorite. It's got such a complete layout, amazing floater airtime, honestly, borderline ejector. In the finale, you get some great airtime there. And what really makes it is that upwards double helix. That's pretty much a gray out every time for me. I love it, especially if you sit on the unload side of the train, back row. You get a violent pop of airtime going up into the mid course and then another violent pop coming out of it. I don't really know what happens on that left side. You just get, or the right side, sorry. You get flung up into the mid course and get a great ejector pop. It's weird, but Nitro's a weird ride. It's kind of unconventional for a B&M hyper, but you know what? I love it. Number 2 is Kingda Ka, the world's tallest coaster and the world's second fastest, for now at least, until Six Flags Qiddiya. But anyways, for now, it's the world's tallest, and it feels it. You're up there, and you're just staring down from the top, and you see everything. But that's not really why you ride Kingda Ka, in my opinion. In my opinion, you ride it for that launch. It is truly undescribable what that launch does. If you haven't ridden Top Thrill Dragster, you're not ready for it. It's 0 to 128 in less than 4 seconds. It's like 3.5. It's absurd. There's no words to describe it. It just feels like you're getting rammed by a truck or something, which I know doesn't sound good, but trust me, it's good. And then you've got the most intense moment of positive G's. Yes, more intense than anything on I-305 during the pull up into the top hat. And then if you're a normal person, you go over the top, get great airtime over it, go back down, get another dose of positives and good airtime over the floater hill, and just feel that wind in your face the whole time. If you're lucky like me, you get a rollback and you go flying down the top hat, getting great backwards floater airtime. It's truly something special if you get that rollback. So yeah, that's why King to Ka is my number 8 overall and just a phenomenal coaster. However, there is a clear winner. You guys probably knew what it was before this list started. It's El Toro, my number 1 coaster overall and just the most absurd coaster on the planet. It probably is, unless Ride to Happiness or Air Force One is more insane. But other than those two, this is it. It's got just the most wild sustained ejector airtime of all time. Those 2 back-to-back camelbacks, I mean, it's extremely hard to beat those. I think that crazy Outer Bank death roll combo thing on Hyperia will beat it, but it's going to have to work for it because these 2 camelbacks are pretty much over 3 seconds of the most sustained, most powerful ejector airtime you can imagine, and maybe even more powerful than that. The first drop is incredible. The Rolling Thunder Hill is incredible too. And the rest of the ride's definitely no slouch. The rest of it is fun too. It's not brutally rough. It's not like Wildcat at Lake Compound's rough, but it definitely could be smoother. You know, I hear T-Express is getting retracked and maybe even with steel. So if that goes well over there, I'll have to be watching that. But if that goes well, maybe bring it over to Toro. I definitely wouldn't be opposed to it, especially if steel runs faster than wood. That would truly be nuts. And if you get lucky and have it malfunction or something like it happened to me, where the chain lift or the cable lift just flies over the top at full speed, yeah, I don't know how that coaster experience will ever be beaten. Last ride of the night, full speed over the lift. But anyways, that's my top 14 coasters at Six Flags Great Adventure. Let me know what you guys thought of this list down in the comments below. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.